being the best of the best. Florida Southern basketball, iconic program here in Central Florida. They have won more championships than I can count, probably. And there's been a couple of changes there, changes for the good. And Rick Odette is their newest head basketball coach. And welcome to the show, Rick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you bet. Florida Southern carrying on a tradition, decades and decades of supremacy, and that's a strong word, but it's probably applicable.
It's accurate. It's
yeah,
accurate.
It is.
I mean, Hal Smeltzy, sort of the first World Series winning coach there at Florida Southern, and and on and on and on. Just a lot of great baseball out of Florida Southern.
Baseball, basketball. It's a program that we're certainly proud of here in Polk County, and certainly something that the city, the school itself can hang their hat on. Excellence in sports. So, I got to reprogram my head. I just got done doing 5 broadcasts here in the last 4 weeks, and I'm a little bit boring.
So welcome aboard, Rick.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. Baseball here in Polk County. We had Kansas City Royals, Detroit Tigers, still here, and Cleveland Indians, Boston Red Sox, and then the collegiate level and all the pros that have come up through this community, through those systems. I mean, it's got to be a little intimidating, isn't it, to step into a program like that with high expectations?
Well, I think it's exciting. For me, it's exciting. I don't think intimidation, we're really not, from my point of view, I want to be at the best and be part of the best. And I think, Florida Southern gives us that opportunity. Obviously, Polk County is how much they support baseball and sports in general. Who wouldn't want to be here if you're a college baseball coach? And so by no means would I ever say I'm intimidated. I'm excited. The unknown always makes you a little bit nervous. Mm-hmm. But where I've been so far and the people I've met and the support we've had, it's hard not to be excited, I guess.
So we were talking a little bit before the show about the differences coming from St. Leo to Florida Southern. Tell us about that transition for you.
There were great people, but what we said, there's been 9 national champions here on the baseball side, and we've been in a situation that we want to win as a staff, as a family, as a program, and win at the highest level. And we've got that opportunity here. So, I think the separator is it can be consistent. Mm-hmm. And there's history that we can build off of rather than trying to build our own. And I think, what better place can you be at than Florida Southern in 9 national championships?
So you're here, you know this division, and so you've sort of walked into this sort of Yankees and Red Sox rivalry with some friends of ours down the street at University of Tampa. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to beat the best to be the best, and I think that's our conversation here. Is we're going to worry about what we do first, and Tampa obviously has had a good history and so on, but our goal is to be back on top, and we're going to do everything in our power to do that.
Well, if I remember correctly, you've amassed more than 700 wins, something to that effect. Is that?
Yeah, I'm old. I'm not 70, but I'm old.
That's going to be a consistent theme throughout the day. So, I've got some extra padding on here. Take a few shots. But, I don't know, this division, of baseball is a tough division. You bring a lot of experience to the position. How is that going to help you or maybe even hinder you?
No, good question. I think for me, the experience piece, especially now being down in Florida, I think if you're ever going to be in college baseball, there's not a better place to coach it than down here, just up and down the state. And obviously from a recruiting piece, but also to draw people not only in Florida, but outside of Florida. I think it becomes one of those situations that if you get out of this regional, you're going to be the favorite to win a World Series. So from a standpoint of experience, it's, I've been to a number of regionals, I've been in an opportunity to get to the World Series, and now we have an opportunity to do it consistently. I think the experience I've drawn from other places is how do we do it here now? And trying to find what the best fit for Florida Southern is, rather than St. Leo or St. Joe where I was at before, is how can we do it here, and do it here not only for one time, but do it consistently. I think the best programs are consistent winners and not just one and dones.
So I'm going to let you brag a little bit here. So both your kids, stars on the diamond, doing well in baseball and softball. Tell us about Ricky, and then tell us about your daughter.
Ricky's at Lake Sumner State. He'll be a sophomore this year. He's a two-way guy. He plays corner infield and he pitches. I think his career will probably end up being on the mound.
All right, I see that he bats lefty. Does he throw lefty as well, or?
No, I'm left-handed. I try to make him left-handed.
Okay.
We did everything in our power to do it. So he's kept throwing right-handed. So what I made him do is I forced him to hit left-handed. So that's the best I could do with him for sure.
And your daughter? My
My daughter's a sophomore at Wesley Chapel High School right now. She's a utility player. She plays pretty much all over the diamond and swings the bat really well and enjoys it. And they've got a great group there as well.
Yeah, and that shows the athletic ability. I mean, my daughter was sort of the utility player in volleyball, and if you can play every position out there on the court or on the field, that shows the athletic ability. So that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good kids too. So we've
That
been
always
really
counts.
fortunate to they do well in academics and athletics. So we're pretty proud of it.
All right.
Rick, you alluded to developing a culture of success here. What is your game plan to accomplish that? And I know that's a tough question because I still maintain, I don't care what sport it's in, it's what goes on in the locker room oftentimes that dictates the performance on the court, on the field, whatever it may be.
We call that the intangible. We of course have to get great players. Great players make coaches, great coaches, without any question. But with that being said, there's a lot of really good talent that has to learn to play together. It starts right there in the locker room and doing stuff the right way. And I think, especially in the day and age of all the transferring that's going on and the transfer portal piece, the intangible becomes is they can actually care for each other, even though they might have walked in a month ago. We've got to get those guys on the same page quickly, and that's our biggest piece. But it does start in the locker room, and it does start, how they treat each other and how they care for each other, for sure.
So how does the history part work in for you as far as Florida Southern? So you've got a great long history in the area, and most of these players who left, played in the majors, came back. Others stayed in the majors or stayed local rather, and continued to contribute to the area. Have you been able to touch into that resource?
We have. I mean, we've been nonstop dealing with, obviously being around and having the conversations with our alumni and obviously professional alumni that played in the big leagues and so on. And they've been so supportive. I mean, really, the whole family here has been fantastic. The baseball alum, they want to win.
Yeah.
They want to win at the highest level, and we know it. And it's great when you can call a player and they already know about the institution. They already know about Florida Southern baseball, and that's something that is different than a lot of places. When you can call somebody at a Division II place in the baseball world and they already know the history, that helps us tremendously. And these alumni are just going to be resources for us. We want them back in. We want them to come speak to our players. We want them to talk about their championships. And that's obviously our ultimate goal, is to get our guys to come back in 10 years and brag about their championships.
I mean, I've always said it's one of the strengths of Florida Southern in general is the fact that these guys who've come to school here stay in the area. So whether it's a Bob George's or Bang
Andy
or
McGaffigan.
Andy McGaffigan, or these guys stay and they either leave and come back or stay afterward and continue to contribute and really better the entire environment.
Well, I think it's all part of the corporate culture here too. When I say corporate culture, the culture of the program itself and the school. And you're having to shift gears from St. Joe, St. Leo to now in Florida Southern. The recruiting process, which builds championships in the future, how difficult is that going to be for you to navigate?
To be honest with you, it gives us a different player. And it does. We've gotten some players in this group that we're bringing in immediately that I probably weren't going to get at St. Leo. And again, I think the recognition of the big leaguers, the recognitions of the pro opportunities, and also the facilities that we keep upgrading, I think all that matters for sure. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, and it's got to be easier to recruit a kid when they've got, everything that Lakeland has around it versus, I mean, St. Leo's a great school, don't get me wrong, but it's out there by itself.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have everything under the sun here. You know, there's every part of it, from restaurants to places to go and be out, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to use a phrase that our good friend Jackie Johnson uses, you can come to Lakeland, you can unpack once and see everything.
See it all.
You've got beaches on the East Coast, on the West Coast, you have all the attractions, the culinary scene that is phenomenal here in Central Florida. And of course, Lakeland's a great community, Winter Haven, great community. So, I think you're being put in a great position with high expectations, albeit high expectations. But the fact of the matter is, with that type of support structure, very promising future for you and the team.
Absolutely. We're glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here as well. Jack, you've sort of a baseball guru too. You use the analogy of the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox rivalries and stuff like that. Rick, those rivalries, even though you haven't really been part of it, historically, but stepping into that, do you lose or gain? Do you lose any passion for rivalries that already exist, or do you think it'll just be easy to step in and go,
I think
these guys are our enemies and we got to beat them?
I think anytime when you're talked about in that conversation and you can be at that level, we're excited for it for sure.
Okay. Rick, thanks so much for joining us. We're excited, and I know the community is excited about you being here. Congratulations to Florida Southern. I think they made a great decision.
Thank you.